this book. I'm loving this book so much. And I have some thoughts. Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel, or hey if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Today's video is going to be a reading vlog. We are going to be reading popular BookTok books for a week. Or should I just say popular books for a week? I'm not sure what the title's going to be, but we're essentially going to be reading 3 popular, very, everyone seems to be reading them right now, books for the week. And I'm so excited because I have been meaning to get to these books for the longest time. Well, one of them is a brand new release, so maybe not that one. Actually, 2 of them are new releases. Just scrap that. I have been just dying to read these books anyway. So the 3 books we're going to be reading in today's video are book number 1, Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This one is a brand new release. It's Emily Henry's release of the year. I am so excited to read this book. It is essentially following 2 writers who are battling it out to win the rights to this famous lady's autobiography. And these 2 basically are having like a rivals to lovers situation. I have seen mixed opinions on this book. Some people seem to say it doesn't feel like Emily Henry. And they kind of say the romance takes like the biggest backseat she's done so far, to the point where the story would completely stand up on its own if we removed the romance. So that is very interesting, and I'm excited to see whether I think that as well, because honestly sometimes I like it when that is the thing. Like, I like a small subplot of romance rather than the whole thing being romance sometimes. So we'll see how I feel about this one. My copy as well, I picked it up from the works the other day. It's got these purple sprayed edges and a reversible dust jacket. Okay, this is the reversible dust jacket. So it's like this purple vibe to match the purple sprayed edges, and it's got a different cover art on it as well. I can't tell whether I prefer the original side or the purple side. I feel like they're both gorgeous, but for right now I am feeling like the bright colours, I think. And then the actual naked hardback is this gorgeous bright yellow, and then it contrasts with the purple. I can't tell if I love the sprayed edges or I hate them. I feel like they're growing on me. Book number 2 is Sunrise on the Reaping. This one is by Suzanne Collins. I am actually reading my sister's copy, hence why there is no dust jacket. I'm sure she has the dust jacket lying around somewhere, which I will pop on at some other point. But here is the cover, just in case you haven't seen the cover. This is Haymitch's story from the Hunger Games. So it's set before the Hunger Games, and obviously we all know and love Haymitch, and well, I love Haymitch. And this is his story from his games. So I've just been absolutely like so excited to read this book. I love Haymitch and I just really want to find out more of his backstory. Will I cry? Maybe. I've seen that it's quite sad, and I'm quite scared for that because I love Haymitch, so if I see him going through hard times, it's gonna hit way worse. I do find it so interesting that Suzanne Collins is putting out different stories surrounding the Hunger Games, because the Hunger Games is such a good trilogy. It really is, to me, like a classic. I just love it, and I'm interested to see if she brings out any more of the like prequels of other people's games or anything like that. However, this one I'm so excited to read, and I can't wait to find out about Haymitch's story. The last one, I thought I would switch up from new popular releases because that could be a video in itself. I have chosen a book that for me, I feel like is very popular on BookTok, and I feel like it sort of got its fame through BookTok potentially, or it made its way to me through BookTok. I probably wouldn't have seen this book without BookTok, and I've been meaning to read it for the longest time. I really want to watch the TV adaptation. My sister has read it and she loved it, and that book is A Man Called Ove. This is the 3rd book for the video. I really want to read this book. I love Fredrik Backman's writing style. I've read Beartown, and I've really been wanting to pick up another book from this author, and I feel like this is his most popular book in my eyes. I know that Beartown is very popular, but I feel like this is the most popular book from him. So I'm very intrigued to see where I stand with this book, because my sister does love it and she's not really a reader. So for her to love a book, you know that it's good. So these are the 3 books I'm going to be reading for today's video, so stay tuned, sit back, relax, get your snack, get your fun drink, and we will get on with reading. We're going to see what I think to these popular BookTok books. Are they worth the hype? Are they not worth the hype? We shall see. Update time. I'm officially halfway through Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Yesterday I said that my goal was to get to the halfway point, and I managed to do that, which is stunning. So we have now officially gotten to the halfway point, and I am loving this book. I'm loving this book so much. It is giving me all of the cozy, summery, comforting feels, and I'm eating it up. I'm finding it so interesting. Essentially what we're following here is we have our main female character who is a journalist. She, you know, she's kind of an up-and-coming journalist. She really wants this job to write Margaret's autobiography. Margaret is sort of this aloof, mysterious woman who was very famous and came from a very famous family, and then she just vanished, like, from the public eye, and then was not seen again after that. And now she has decided she wants to tell her story and her side of things, and she wants to just get this autobiography out there. So she is choosing between 2 separate writers. She's choosing between Alice and Hayden. One of the 2. She is choosing between these 2 writers. They're both very different because Alice is kind of up and coming. She has found Margaret and asked Margaret if she could write this autobiography. And then we have Hayden, who he has won a Pulitzer Prize. I think that's how you say it. He's very renowned for his autobiography writing skills, and Margaret reached out to him. So you're kind of seeing how it seems like he has the upper hand, but they're both battling it out of this month-long period where they're interviewing her and writing their takes on her life, and she's going to choose which one she prefers at the end of this month. Not only are we seeing their lives present day and how they're writing, how they're kind of having this rivals thing going on and they're building a little friendship, we're also seeing the story of Margaret's life, which is super interesting, and that is what's keeping me hooked, I think, because she's coming from this like glamorous Hollywood lifestyle with really rich parents and ancestors, and she's telling her side of things, and it's giving me almost like a Evelyn Hugo vibe, where she's like recounting her very glamorous lifestyle. And at first I was a bit like, I'm not obsessed with this aspect, like the story of her life aspect, but as we've got further into it I feel very much hooked and very much like I want to find out more about Margaret's life. It's very interesting, and this is just giving me the most comforting, warm, cozy vibe ever. It's almost like a cozy mystery because we're not sure why Margaret is being so mysterious, and we're also, you know, battling it out for who's gonna win the rights to this book. And I'm just having the best time. This might be a 5-star. It might be a 5-star. I've seen very mixed opinions on this book. Some people say they love it, some people say that it doesn't feel like Emily Henry, but for me, sat in the sun with my iced coffee yesterday, I was just, I was having the best time. You know when the vibes just make the book feel way better as well? I think that was a case of this. I am just, you know, I feel at home with this book. I feel like this could be up there with Funny Story. I also love how she writes the most cozy small towns ever, and they all have little names for the businesses there and little side characters. I just really want to go to one of these Emily Henry towns. Like, I need to go. But that is my update. Today I'm going to aim to finish this book off, and then we will have finished the first popular BookTok book for the video. I have some updates for you guys. So, we have finished the first book of today's video. Let me get comfy. I feel like I'm sat at a really awkward angle. Okay, we have read our first book of the video and I have rated this a... Silence please. Silence please. Any guesses? Put your guesses in now. A 5-star. I have rated this book a 5 stars. I loved every single second of it. I loved the premise, I loved the storytelling, I loved the little subplot of romance, I loved the main girl, I loved the like the summery small town vibe. I just felt like this was a really, really good Emily Henry book, and it gave me the same feels as Funny Story, which was a 5-star for me, so this had to be a 5-star. You can also kind of tell, I don't know if you can tell, but from the first time I showed you this book, I feel like the edges have gone really sun bleached, because I read this in 2 days while it was super sunny outside, which probably did, I'm not gonna lie, feed into how much I enjoyed the book because I read it in the sun. And I feel like this would be the perfect book to take with you on holiday, or if you're going anywhere that you're going to be sat outside in the sun for a few days. This is the perfect book. It just felt like a warm hug, if I could describe it. And I have seen some interesting takes on this book and Emily Henry's writing as a whole, and although I feel like we have come to a joint decision that her books aren't typically romance heavy, they are very much women's fiction. I feel like that is just because she writes romance in just a different way, and she just has a different take on romance, and her version of romance is like making it seem more real life, and it's not so all-consuming. It's more like, you know what, hey, we have our main character here, she has her own life going on, her own thoughts and everything like that. She's got her own dilemmas that we're working through, and then we're adding in this love interest and we're seeing them develop more of a real romance. It doesn't feel like every single thought she ever has about is him, which I do think is quite nice to read about from time to time, because she writes female characters that are so well developed and fleshed out to the point where they do have other thoughts other than the man or the woman or the love interest. They do have other thoughts, so I enjoy that. And I think the vibes of this book, it was super beachy. I keep saying beachy, why do I keep saying that? I think it's because they go out on a boat at some point, but I'm not actually 100% sure that it is set by a beach. But it just gives like the coziest small town vibe. They had like the cutest cafes, and like the names of the cafes were really cute as well. And I just felt like this was a really good book. I liked it. I highly recommend it if you like Emily Henry, if you've not really, you know, given this one a go yet, because you've not been sure whether it's going to be for you or not, because I do feel like there's a lot of mixed opinions floating around. I think give it a go, and I think read it in the sun because it will enhance your experience. And yeah, I love this. I can't decide whether to keep it this way round or have it that colourway round. I'll have to decide. We'll see. And since then, I have started the next book for the video, which is A Man Called Ove by Fredrik Backman. This one is one I have seen circulating for the longest time, and specifically when I first joined BookTok, I feel like it was very talked about and very popular, and obviously it has been made into a TV adaptation, so that just kind of goes to show how popular it is. I feel like a lot of people start their Fredrik Backman journey with A Man Called Ove, and I've been meaning to read it for a while because my sister really enjoyed it, so we have made it to chapter 5, page 32 so far. However, I have downloaded the audiobook for when I'm driving about for work, so I can be listening to it and get some chapters read whilst I am at work. So that is my update on this. Obviously I don't really know too much about this one yet because I'm only 30 pages in, but so far we've kind of got this like grumpy old man. He finds the negatives in pretty much anything in life. give him a situation, he will find the negative. And I feel like we're gonna see his character develop and him start to accept his life and come to terms with it and see the beauty in life. I feel like that's going to be the premise of this book, and I'm excited to see him evolve as a character. I'm assuming that he is dealing with some grief as well. Yeah, I feel like it's definitely going to be more of a sad book, but also happy, maybe in the end. I don't really know too much, but I am enjoying the audiobook. I have already started listening to one chapter of the audiobook, and I am finding it an entertaining listen. So that is my update. We have I finished one book, we've started the second book, and the third book is going to be Sunrise on the Reaping, which I'm so excited to read. Have officially finished A Man Called Ove, and I'm gonna rate this book a 3.75 stars to a 4 star. I think that is where I'm currently, like, at war between which rating to give, but I'll pop it on the screen which one I do decide on. But that is kind of how I'm feeling. So basically this book I enjoyed. I just feel like at some points I was slightly bored. It just kind of was quite slow paced, but obviously I think it's like meant to be slow paced, so that is just a me problem. And honestly, I think you should just try and read this book regardless of my opinion, because it's so popular and people love it for a reason. I can definitely see that this is such an impactful, like, story in a way, because it's showing, like, trying to find the true meaning of happiness in life and looking for the small things that can bring you happiness. And even though you're in a bad situation and, you know, you're really not happy, you can look and find the silver lining. Is that the word? Like, you can find the silver lining in things and start to look at things differently and not look at things so negatively and sort of have more of a positive outlook. That is definitely like the theme of this book, I would say. Ove in the end did definitely grow on me. He started off obviously being quite a grumpy character, but I think towards the end you do definitely start to love his character, and you feel for him. Okay, you just start to feel for him. I don't know why it took so many attempts to get that word out, but yeah, I enjoyed this. I just feel like it was slightly slow in parts, but like I said, I think that's the point. It's not really meant to be a super high stakes, you know, bam, 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 bam kind of book. It is definitely more of like a character study book. Like, we're following these characters in a monologue and how they're going about life. So if you do like a character focused book, then definitely give this one a go. It's definitely more character than plot. And it's meant to show, like, I feel like Fredrik Backman did a really good job of starting off the story where you don't really like Ove and you're like, this man is really grumpy and he's really rude. And then he really does slowly make us like Ove, and I think that he did a really good job of that. But now it is time to move on to Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I am so incredibly excited for this book. Like, I could jump up and down with joy right now, actually. Maybe I'll do that. Okay, sometimes you just have to get that little bit of joy out your body, do you know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta have a little jump. I am so excited for this book. Maybe I shouldn't be excited, because is it going to emotionally destroy me? Yes, probably. Probably it is. And I'm kind of scared for that, because there's nothing really good that could come of Haymitch's story. I mean, we see how he is in the Hunger Games trilogy, and honestly, he is not in a good way. He's an alcoholic. He definitely, you can tell that he's depressed and he's not the best version of himself. He definitely has been through some stuff. We've always known this after watching the Hunger Games trilogy. So now to find out what happened for him to be like this in the future, I fear there's nothing good that is going to happen. You know, I fear that my guy Haymitch is not going to have the easiest history, the easiest life story. And I'm intrigued as well because is this game, this obviously is going to focus on him, which is games, but does he have like a special games? Was it like an all-stars one or something? No, was it? The 50th annual, it's the 50th annual Hunger Games. Okay. It's the Quarter Quell. Twice as many tributes. Ah, I knew Haymitch had a special games. Okay, so his Hunger Games is the quarter, what was it? The Quarter Quell, which basically means that where I think there's normally, is it 24? I think 24 participants. This year there's double that. So there's like twice as many opponents to get through. And obviously we know that he did win his games. That's not a spoiler. So we're going to see how he did that, because obviously that is quite a massive feat considering how many people there were. And I think there's also like a bit of a love story, but I don't think that is going to be the happiest either. Honestly, this book is kind of just going to be really sad, I feel. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. I love the Hunger Games. I really want to get the special edition set that they have because they're just gorgeous. And I do think that the Hunger Games is a classic. It's a modern classic. I think, you know, down the years, that is going to be a book that I say to my future children. I'm going to be like, guys, like, you need to read these books. Like, these are incredible books. And I think that they focus on such real world problems, but just put in a dystopian format. Like, Suzanne Collins was way ahead of her time when she was writing these books, and hat off to her, honestly. I love Haymitch, can't wait for the film, and of course before the film comes out I have to read the book. So this is what we're going to start next. I am going to sit outside today, I think, at some point. It's my day off from work, so I should be able to get a good chunk of reading done. However, it's quite cold outside. It looks sunny, but it's cold. It's one of those deceiving days, so we're gonna have to see if I can sit outside, but at the moment I've got a chill. I'm very cold. But I'm gonna go get reading and we'll see what I think to this book. Setup. It's actually gotten a lot sunnier now. It was really cold this morning, but it's actually really sunny. So I'm in the garden, I'm on this deck chair, and I have officially started Sunrise on the Reaping. By the way, how pretty is the cover? It's gorgeous. I've also got an iced coffee, my ice cold water, because you got to stay hydrated, guys. So I'm going to sit here. I'm going to try make it to page 200 today. Try get halfway in, or just over halfway. And we'll see. I've just read the first chapter, and the ending of chapter 1 genuinely left me gasping. I was like, oh, I did not know that was how his story started. Like, I was like, oh, this poor guy. If you know, you know. But I feel like this is going to be an emotional book. But I've just read chapter 1. I'm going to sit here and read as much as possible. It is a lot later now. I have been doing some reading, and I have made it to this far in. We are currently on page 150, and I have some thoughts to tell you. I've also got my Scion Park pyjama top on. It's got this lion on. Ella, my sister, got a capybara one. And they are the comfiest t-shirts ever. I am such a t-shirt lover. Like, if I can be chilling, I will ideally be chilling in a massive random t-shirt. But anyway, I digress. I have thoughts about this book. I am absolutely loving this book. I am eating it up. It is so good. It feels so good to be back. It feels so good to be back in the Hunger Games world, and the amount of crossovers and little clues that you already know from the main trilogy that are happening in this book are so well thought out, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, wow, like, to see this here and then to see how it pans out in the future is so interesting and so crazy. And I think as well, the way that Haymitch is being portrayed is exactly how I pictured him as sort of a teenager. He's kind of like a little bit rebellious, he's got a very strong mindset, and he's very much giving Katniss, but the male version in a way. And it is just genuinely crazy to see all of the characters mentioned in the main trilogy as young people or as just living in this previous timeline. I am just blown away by how Suzanne Collins has remembered all these things over the years. So talented. And I genuinely think that this book might shape up to be a 5-star. We'll obviously see when I read a little bit more. I'm going to try read some more tonight and hopefully get to the halfway point and then finish it off tomorrow, or maybe we'll read more than that tonight, who knows. I'm so immersed in this book when I'm reading it and I can't actually put it down. I just love the Hunger Games. I think the whole just world that is the Hunger Games feels so nostalgic to me, so it feels so good to be back in like the sort of world that Suzanne Collins has created. So far I have just reached like part 2. I've just gone over part 2 of the book and we're kind of going into the games now. So we've had the sort of beginning and where they've like the district that they've come from and all of that kind of thing, the reaping, and now we're entering the games portion of the book, which I'm very intrigued to learn about. Obviously we have double number of participants in this games and I'm intrigued to see how their games looked. Obviously it is very much before the main trilogy, so we'll see what the differences are. And yeah, that is my update. Loving it so far, obsessed. Think it's going to be a 5-star, but we'll see. I'm going to go now, read some more of this book, and I will update you tomorrow. There is a fly in my room and it's making some noise, so please ignore that. I have finished Sunrise on the Reaping and I'm going to rate this book a 5-star! A 5-star, 2 5-stars in one video. Are we joking? This is insane. I'm obsessed. I can't believe that I've had 2 5-stars in one video. This book for me, it just has to be a 5-star because I was so obsessed the whole way through. Didn't want to put it down, was so hooked. And it's weird because even though you literally know the outcome of this story, kind of, like you know that Haymitch does win the games or he survives. Like that is not a spoiler because he is a character in the Hunger Games. You're still reading to find out his story because you're so hooked and you're so attached to the character that he is. And yeah, this was just a 5-star for me. I feel like everything about it, the way that Suzanne has like told this story was really well paced, and the whole time I was like, what's gonna happen? What is gonna happen? I felt like I was on the edge of my seat. I feel like the little clues that she's thrown in from the actual original trilogy was really good. And yeah, I loved learning about young Haymitch and Haymitch's story. Definitely an emotional roller coaster and definitely a little bit sad, but 100% if you have read the Hunger Games, please read this book. This one for me was honestly up there with the main trilogy and I feel like it was just such a good read. So that concludes the video. We have read 3 popular BookTok books. A Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, which was a 5-star. A Man Called Ove by Fredrik Backman, which was a 3.75 star, and Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, which was a 5-star as well. So honestly, we've had some pretty high ratings. Like even A Man Called Ove, which was 3.75 star, like that is still a high rating. So really, these popular BookTok books are justified in their hype, and they definitely deserve the hype that they get because they are all very good books. I tried to sort of choose a plethora of different options. We obviously had more of a literary fiction, we've had a romance, and we've had like a dystopian fantasy. So this has been really fun, and I've got two new releases that I really wanted to read, and also one book that I've had on my mental TBR for a very long time. So we've had a lot of fun reading this week. As always, please do let me know if you've read these books and what you thought on them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for joining me today. Goodbye guys.